Hey, Master Gardeners, here we are again. Aeroponic gardening, a style of gardening where the container is self-contained with watering and foolproof because it tells you exactly when to water and how to fertilize. Easy process. This girl has got a dozen of these where she starts seedling growth plants, and she loves flowers. And that's why she's growing this one. So let's show you, what do you do when they've been growing a long time? This has been almost 3 months. So she's gonna do some pruning because she wants it to continue to bloom. So she's gonna come in and prune her, is this a straw flower? Mm-hmm. Yeah, straw flower. And she's gonna nip it back. Her mature flowers, she's basically deadheading, but she's doing a little bit more than deadheading. She's gonna prune it down in deep. There's new buds coming in on that one. So that's how she's going to take care of that one. She's going to get into her snapdragons and do some deadheading as well down inside. She finds that sometimes it's a matter of just pulling the branches out and helping the plant to space itself. They tend to grow naturally straight up to the light. So she's going to thin out seed heads on that one. And on the end here, she's got polka dot. Well, I don't know if you've ever grown polka dot before, but that thing you can butcher and just prune it harsh and it'll rejuvenate easily. If you wanted to try to root them in some water or soil, that would be so easy to do. So she does that. She's doing it in her kitchen window right now. Let me show you what happens to some of your plants. Look at this little coleus. You can see he's battled, he's not getting sufficient light. So the more she prunes the neighbors, the more light this one will get and recover. And there's also a dianthus over here, which is actually an edible flower. This one seems to all be finished. She could feasibly just go whack like that, one chop off, or you could be careful and do individual pruning. But some of these blossoms are edible flowers that you could, if you're having a potato salad and you wanted to decorate the top of it, you could be nipping them off. And I just turned the light off, but let's move on. So that's a mature one. Now we looked at this one in an earlier video. This is our seedling platform with many plants, but guess what? We've got 2 little cabbages here that are too small, and she wants to move this whole container. She's going to take this whole piece outside and acclimate this to moving air. She's got lettuce and cold season crops, and her purpose is to plant them outdoors. But she's got 2 little juvenile seedlings in here that are not ready for this. So watch what she's going to do. She's using some little tool to help pull them out. See, they just have little juvenile roots. And she's got another hydroponic system here. I can't see how to turn the light on. Oh, I can hear the water running. You can oftentimes tell when the water is getting low in these because you can actually hear the sounds a little bit more, trickling water, which you might like in your house. But usually for me, that indicates that I need to apply water. Do you notice that as well?
I do.
When you hear them. So she's, on this cell, she didn't have these plastic little containers to drop them in. So she's dropping it into there. Her purpose is to nurture these young seedlings in here. Can you get that light turned on, Cass, so they can see what's in here? This one is a little bit more advanced type of a system. It has more readings on it to tell you what to do. You'll notice the platform on this one is black, whereas these other platforms have been whitish in color. You'll find the whitish color seems to attract a little bit more of the salt accumulation. That's a natural process that occurs. This older one has, let me see if I can show you some salts on the rim of it. Here, over here on the more center part, over here you'll see salts and things around the opening. That's a natural occurrence from your water. It's interesting to say that the filtered water that she's getting here, city water, is one of your best, as well as distilled water that you could buy is really good. Well water, where I live, that's a no-no. And so those things are what help the reaction to occur between your fertilizers and your water, and you get that salt accumulation. Some of these darker surfaces are easier to clean, and they don't accumulate as much as that salt. So look at her big old mature cilantro. You know, cilantro, when it matures and flowers, becomes your coriander seed. So if she wanted to keep this continuing to grow, she could. But she has a second coriander in here that's juvenile. So she's at the point she's going to discard this. She will keep these little cages and clean this up for reuse. But the sponge itself is just discarded. We never reuse those sponges because they tend to get a little algae on the surface of them. And I'll give you a warning. I've tried using these little cages and filling them with I've stuffed a nylon in them and put potting soil. That creates a little bit of algae growth. And so it introduces kind of new pathogens into your hydroponic system. So I don't recommend that you do that homemade stuff. But this piece can be reused and maybe dip it in a little mild bleach solution. So she's dropping in her new little seedling. She's putting a second one in here. She keeps her platform within 4 to 6 inches of her flat leaves. I used to keep my light platform really low, but she keeps hers a little higher with great success. So she's going to prune her old coriander. She has a basil inside of here. Oh, you got 2 corianders. So, and then she's got, well, here's another one. Here's what they come like when you first start. That's what you're starting your seedlings down inside of. That's how you begin them. This must have been a juvenile that didn't grow. We typically buy plants from the company that sells these units because the plants they sell are often dwarfs and petite cultivars. Just starting like a giant sunflower in here is not going to give you great success. You do need to always ultimately choose these little dwarf plants. So I think we've covered most of the points, I think. So there you go, some more aeroponics tips for you, Master Gardeners. Thanks.